The lead story for today for Geek News Central. OpenAI's new ChatGPT search feature, launched for paid users on mobile and web, allows real time information access, with source attributions enhancing ChatGPT's value as an alternative to traditional search engines like Google. Following a prototype called Search GPT, this feature integrates licensed content from major publishers to deliver reliable, timely information in conversational format. OpenAI intends to expand these capabilities, addressing key areas like local search, travel, shopping, and accuracy and accountability and focus, especially for critical updates such as election results. That and many, many more stories tonight. Episode 1775 is coming to you this Thursday, November 1st. I'm your host, Todd Cochran, ready to deliver your tech news and information fix. A quick shout out to our incredible sponsor at GoDaddy. Score exclusive deals and discounts at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. And to all of our fantastic listeners, you're the heartbeat of this show. If you want to support the GNC mission, head to geeknewscentral.com/insider and become a GNC insider. We are live and lit thanks to modern podcast apps. Don't just listen. Experience the show live by grabbing a modern podcast app at podcastapps.com. You can interact in real time and take your podcasting experience to the next level. While you're at it, check out the full Geek News Central universe at geeknewscentral.com, where you'll find all our partner shows, tons of content, and more tech goodness. Of course, if you want to stay in the loop, it's real simple to do. Stay in the loop, subscribe to your favorite podcast app, and join the community. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter for even more insider scoops. And you have something to say? Join the conversation at geeknews.chat or email me geeknews@gmail.com. You can hit me up on X at Geek News and can even catch me on Facebook. Of course, a massive thank you to our good friends at GoDaddy, the longest continuous running sponsor in podcasting. Keep the savings rolling and the tech flowing. You can grab their best deals. You can grab their best deals at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You ready to score big? How about a brand new domain name or for just $11.99? Or level up with economy hosting for only $6.99 a month. And that includes a free domain, professional email, and SSL certificate for for the first year. Want even more power? No problem. Grab Managed WordPress hosting for just $12.99 a month with all those same perks, free domain, email, and SSL certificate. And if you're on the fence, don't sweat it. Take GoDaddy's website builder for a free 1-month test drive, whether you're building something personal or launching the next big thing in business. GoDaddy's got your back. Now, here's the best part. When you hit up geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy, you're going to save. You're going to save big. You're going to save a lot of money by going over there and using one of my promo codes. There's no tricks, no weird tracking, just real savings for real people. And of course, a shout out to GoDaddy for keeping Geek News Central running strong. Ready to lock in your savings? Head to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy and let's get building. Hey everyone, how you doing? It's late for those of you on the East Coast. And starting the stream tonight, it just took forever for YouTube to come online. And I'm starting to learn the software a little bit better that I'm using for streaming the show, and learning some shortcuts. But the shortcuts only work when the window's active. So it's kind of funny because I've got so much stuff going on here. I'm looking out of the side of my face to make sure I'm in the right window, and I am. But yeah, it's just the way it is. And when you're running on a new system, the finger strength is or finger knowledge is not the way it normally is. But Anyway, you guys don't want to hear about that. How y'all doing? It's Thursday, Halloween. I think I said the date wrong. It's October 31st. Friday tomorrow's November 1st. Where I'm at, it's November 1st. And I hope you enjoyed your Halloween night and got lots of treats, tricks, or treats. And but anyway, it's just been a normal week here for me. First in a long time. Lots of work, and just stayed really super busy. Um, Burning the candle here, for sure. But that's, I guess that's what's to be expected. That's what you do when it's the normal work week. Um, I've got a great story to start off today with, and you know, I'm just I even did an experiment before the show today and did some test searches in this new thing from ChatGPT. And I've got major, I guess for a better word, um, concerns, because the search results that I'm seeing in ChatGPT, at least at this point, is severely lacking. Um, I'm I don't know. I think in the end, what we're going to have happen, um, and this is probably something that we'll continue to see, is the situation where businesses are just going to be left behind. This new search feature, when I ran a couple of queries, it was bad news. Um, if you're not surfaced in the four results that they put on the screen, there's no other results. That's it. And I think people are going to be using this along with other tools more going forward. And if we think about what Google has already done, um, as a person that has a business that's online that relies on web traffic and to my website, how do I now bring people to Geek News Central, Blueberry, if we're not surfaced in those four search results? And the public being what the public is, they're probably going to trust these mini results, which again, will have you just don't know. Now, if you're a winner on this, you're going to see incredible amount of traffic from these search queries, even from Google. You're going to be you're going to be a winner. Now, if you think about it, probably if you run a coffee shop or are a plumber or you are an air conditioning business in a small town, probably the local search. You may get lucky and have your company surface. But what if you're in Los Angeles or San Diego or Orange County or a borough in New York, and someone is searching for a plumber in Queens? Well, I bet you there's 100 plumbers in Queens. But there's only four shown in the results, you basically are going to be left behind. And this is going to be a real impact. The web, as we know it, was democratized to the point where no one could, in the early days, um, truly dominate to the point where the you couldn't be found. People could find you even on Google. You could scroll and you could be found. Um, and there was set parameters, and this is why search engine optimization has been so big for so many years. That industry is dead. With this, I don't have an answer for it, and to be honest with you, it scares the living hell out of me of the future that we are facing If you go to work at a business and you are reliant upon search traffic to bring you new customers or bring you referrals. If you're a lawyer, how can people be found in now? So this is going to raise new considerations for the web, whereas maybe we're going to have to go back to the days of almost list. Do you guys remember in the very, very early days of the web when you would submit yourself to a directory, um, and you were able to subcategorize where your business, what category it was going to be in. So, in other words, it would be state, city, um, and then a category plumbers, and then it would list all the plumbers in your city. There was real no true search. So what happens now we want to find um, when we want to find more businesses than what's being presented to us by Google summary and ChatGPT search? Um, I've been warning about this for a while, and I think I would be thrilled if I was guaranteed to be in the top search results. Now let me see if I can do a test here right while we're online and doing the show today. And I will start a new Chat GPT session. And let me bring the screen back. And let's see here. Come on, switch. Oh no, no, no. Okay, there we go. Um, I'm going to ask, what is the top, what tech podcast would you recommend? And we'll see what it gives us here. Searching the web, Waveform, All In Podcast, Darknet Diaries, The Vergecast, Hacker Public Radio. See, these are the four results that you get. And if you don't know anything about Geek News Central, let's try this again. Let's ask, what are the top 10? Let's see, what was the question I asked initially? What are the top 10 tech podcasts that you know about? So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And we get the results here. Let's see what it says. See if it gives me 10. Waveform, All In Podcast, Darknet Diaries, The Vergecast, Hacker, Acquired, Hard Fork, The Whole Week in Tech with Uncanny Valley, Tech Me Ride Home. So again, this is what it's come up with. And then if I ask it, what about Geek News Central? We'll see what it does. Actually, I should say, what about Geek News Central? So see what it says about that. Cheating here a little bit, right? So it gives me a little bit of gives me a little bit of a rundown, and the sources were Geek News Central and YouTube, whereas the sources for these other were podcast reviews, exploring topics, best tech podcasts, best. So that it did go out and look at a bunch of sources per se, but one thing is for sure. Again, if we go back to this premises, um, things are going to change dramatically. And you, the listener of this audience, is going to be the primary way that people are going to know about this show. Because as search changes, the search traffic that I have relied upon to bring new listeners to the show or to my company, um, that's going to go by the wayside. So, what say you in all of this? What's your thoughts? Um, and if you're using it, let me know if you're using it. I'm just we all knew this was coming. We've talked about this on the show already. And again, this new feature. But and again, the model is not I don't think it's using current day stuff. I don't think so. Maybe it is. Let me go back to it and ask it, what is the latest episode of Geek News Central? We'll do a test here. And, we'll go back. So, yeah, the latest episode was well, it's not it didn't come up with the episode. It come up with the latest, blog post. That was a blog post. It was not a podcast episode. Do you not look at the feed? See if that gets a response. I apologize. Upon reviewing Geek News RSS feed, the latest episode is titled Google Expands. See, yeah. So, oh yeah, they did. It found it. It got it right when it looked at the feed. So I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. I really don't. I'd love to hear your feedback on this today. What do you think? Geeknews at gmail.com for your commentary to come back to me. Um, again, this is just another whack. We've already seen some of this already. So that at this point, it is what it is, right? And then we're going to have to figure out how to get these AI systems to be able to recognize who we are and what is good. Um, I don't know. I don't know if it'll take feedback. Um, I did play with it a little bit earlier in telling it, why did you leave this site out from your list? And gave it the reason. And then I asked it again and it included it, but it was in the same query box. So I need to go back on another day and ask that question again. The problem will become is it learned because of me, and will it give you results based upon my input? I doubt it. I don't. It's not that smart at this point. So time will tell on all of this. All right, moving on here. As you can see, I'm distressed. And I think if you're a business owner, you should be scared to death. You really, really should be. You should be absolutely frightened on what this is going to lead to. New Android malware can hijack bank calls and reroute your calls to a hacker. This is crazy stuff. A newly spotted malware variant can detect a bank related call activity and reroute the phone. So you pick up your Android phone, you call your bank, and it basically dials a hacker. Now, what's happened is apparently you will have to have agreed time in the past to allow another app to handle calls. The malware app, see what it does is the fake call or fake calls malware has been active a little over 2 years, but has recently become more complex and harder to spot. While it previously posed as a banking app, newer versions are more insidious. The app gets installed as a side-loaded APK, as is often the case with Android malware, that it then asks you for permission to become the default call handler, essentially replacing your phone's regular dialer app. So anytime you're asked to replace a core function in your mobile phone, please do not do that, because the malware app will then run in the background, patiently waiting for you to call a known bank number. And when you do, bada bing, bada boom, you will have your bank account emptied because you will not be talking to your bank. You will be talking to someone overseas. Dropbox, boy, oh boy, a big layoff. They're laying off 20% of their staff. They've confirmed that this 20% reduction in employees will result in 528 people being laid off. And they cite basically changes in business. Um, not everyone needs a Dropbox right now. People have Google Drive, they have multiple ways to share files online. So, this is going to be ongoing as technology updates and people's platforms get replaced. But still, it's a sign of the economy being just absolutely shit at the moment. So, um, I don't know. We'll see. WordPress, Matt Mullenweg has claimed he has no obligation to provide WordPress engine with access to WordPress.org resources, and that they have asked the courts to dismiss the WP Engine lawsuit. Now, I don't think this is going to. We'll see where this goes, but we know that WP Engine and WordPress.org are at war. As noted in the filing, he claims he has no obligation to provide WordPress.org resources, WP Engine. The mere fact that WP Engine made the risky decision to base its growing business on a site to which it has no rights or guarantee of access without making backup plans is not enough. So this is a ongoing battle that has major ramification and is essentially a scorched earth nuclear campaign by both Matt and now WP Engine. WP Engine, basically, the gist of all this is that WP Engine has not been contributing code, not been a good steward uh, in essentially being um, what's the word I'm looking for here? Essentially, not contributing a lot of code to the base, and I in particular don't necessarily agree with that, but my company has a plugin, and we spend a lot of money keeping that plugin updated. So in essence, we do contribute to the base in our own way, but we don't contribute to WordPress.org, aka the base of WordPress. And I think that's part of the ongoing dispute. But yeah, this is pretty ugly, and it's got a lot of people in the WordPress community worried. But Matt definitely has a hair up his ass to go after WP Engine. Microsoft wants $30 to let you keep using Windows 10 securely for another year. Windows 10 end of support is coming in October, October 2025, and consumers will only be able to buy an extra year of security updates for $30 if you do not upgrade. So just be aware of that. Come the end of October of next year, you'll be able to purchase that update. There's a lot of discussions about app sharing, specifically streaming app sharing. And I got prompted here just the other day on Netflix because it didn't recognize I'd been was basically stuck in the province for that typhoon and had downloaded some Netflix videos there. And then when I came here and had my Amazon Fire Stick, it said, "Hey, please validate you are who you say you are. And are you on vacation? Are you traveling?" And then I had to set the notice basically in Netflix that let them know I'm basically primarily here through January. And it let me play. But if you are sharing your password, reckless password sharing, it could get you banned. If you're living in separate households, you're going to have to buy an additional seat for that additional household. If you're caught violating community guidelines, that is going to have an effect if at all. And exclusive except VPN usage is as well. I forgot to shut the air conditioner off. So if you guys heard a bit of a background noise there in the beginning, it's my bust. I forgot to shut the AC off. Apple, meanwhile, keeps killing VPN apps upon Russia's orders. Amzia VPN is the latest victim. Over 60 VPN apps have been removed at the request of the Russian censor since July, and Apple has willingly allowed that to happen. So, not a lot of backbone there by Apple when it comes to Russia. It's being reported that the iPhone 17, yes, the iPhone 17, next year's model, will reportedly get a new type of Wi-Fi chip. Appears that Apple is going to build its own in-house Wi-Fi instead of having to buy one from Broadcom. So Broadcom currently supplies over 300 million Wi-Fi BT chips per year to Apple. However, Apple will rapidly reduce its reliance on Broadcom with its new 2H25 chip that it's in the iPhone 17 and use their own chip. So we will see where this leads. And again, companies being cut out because Apple says, hey, we're going to build our own silicon. If you're an Opera browser users, well, they had a major security flaw that could have exposed all your details. So patch now. This is a pretty bad one. And threat actors could have accessed permissive APIs in the browser and taking over accounts. Like they could have tweaked browser settings and even took screenshots. And so update your Opera browser if you are an Opera user. Hey, I do want to thank Richard Woodworth for his $10.41 Ohana donation, insider donation here. We definitely appreciate your support, Richard, ongoing each month. And again, those of you that have been streaming the show on one of those modern podcast apps, we want to thank you for doing so. For those of you watching the show, this is the report I get that comes in 400 sats, 500 sats a minute, 250 sats a minute. Brian and Dave Jackson both streaming the show live. Darren streaming Geek News Central live at 100 sats a minute. So these are fantastic ongoing supporting donations, a value for value where you're providing value back to the show in streaming sats using a new modern podcast app. So we want to thank all of you that are participating. We had no boost for Geek News Central, but I did have for the new media show, which I will cover it during that event. But anyway, again, go over to podcastapps.com. And if you're not an insider, become an insider today at geeknewscentral.com/insider. In a reverse play here, China has sanctioned a U.S. drone maker in an ongoing trade war. The embargo has set the company racing to find alternative battery suppliers. These folks make drones specifically for the fire service, and he would provided unmanned area vehicles to Taiwan's National Fire Service. And China announced the sanctions because they had provided those. There might be a little bit of a different play here too, because Skydio, Skydio, has a drone that is being shipped to Ukraine as well. So maybe Russia said, well, are they really providing drones for fire departments? Or are they providing drones for a offensive or defensive capability? So there may be a little bit more to the story here, but they're scrambling for a new battery supplier. YouTube has won a lawsuit. The name YouTube Shorts isn't a trademark infringement under UK court rules. A British short film channel sued Google. The company holds a trademark for the word shorts, so but they've lost. None of Google's use of signs, including the word shorts, gives rise to likelihood of confusion as to the origin, the judge said. While the similarity between Google Signs and SIL's trademarks will give rise to a link in the minds of limited group of UK consumers, it's not enough to basically say you can't use it. So Google won that one. It's interesting, how many of you are using new pass keys? I use a password manager called One Password, and pass keys are great if you have less than one account on a service or only one account on a service. Pass keys are pretty nightmarish if, for example, you might have two Amazon accounts. And because of my business, I have two Amazon accounts. And so using a passkey on Amazon is great, but when I go to log into the other service or into the other account, it really becomes a little bit problematic. But passkeys are great, and they're saying that passwords are starting to fall out of fashion with younger folks, and new data from the FIDO Alliance shows passkey awareness has risen 39% in the past 57% in the past year. So more businesses are starting to implement it on their websites as well. So I thought that was a pretty good indication, and I continue to see them pop up from time to time, different locations as well. Google Maps will use AI again. Here's another strike. Google Maps will use AI to answer questions about the new restaurant you want to try. So this is the question. What if it doesn't give you a summary? The app will also start letting you search for locations with descriptive prompts as well as display AI summary reviews. It's supposed to help you find new places. What about old places? And they're going to come up with inspirational collections. In other words, their choice. I'm just, we're going to be dumber and dumber. We really are. Um, And there's gonna be some big winners and losers here. Google's expanding the immersives to 150 cities. This feature rolled for all in 2022 combines Street View and satellite images, private aerial view. During a press release, Google Maps head Miriam Daniel demonstrated how this might work by selecting a restaurant and entering, "Is it a quiet atmosphere?" Google Maps then returned an answer saying the location has a lively atmosphere and a cozy feel. Beneath how does the AI know this? From reviews? So I could go in and sabotage a place by doing a review and say, "This place is super noisy." Um, I don't know. I like AI from a product standpoint, but I hate it in search. I really, really do. Um, it's got me bothered. HP unveils new AI PC software tools to help boost productivity. HP wants to help 2 in 5 British workers who never take their full lunch break. Well, why is that? I think we all do that. I think that's probably a close to American trait as well. So, if you're one of the 1 3 British workers who regularly skips their lunch to catch up on admin tasks, HP has a new tool for you. The company's announced Amplify AI program, which is set to offer tools, resources, training, and certification to make sure partners are well equipped to use AI to help their customers and within their own businesses. So they're basically counting the AI can help alleviate a tedious task and allow employees to focus on more critical aspects of their work, but maybe go to lunch. Seems kind of a stretch on how they came up with this in this article. It's just a little weird how they basically said HP unveils new AI PC software, which sounds like a review, and then say it's to help British workers eat their lunch. It's just a little the play on this particular article. Looks like a little pay to play type of deal. Samsung could launch a Galaxy S25 Slim to compete with the rumored iPhone 17 Air. So the latest news comes on the front from South Korea site ET News, which says that Samsung is considering releasing a slimmer entry in the Samsung Galaxy S25 series, one which would probably land a few months after the main S25 line. The fact that Samsung is apparently doing this next year is null because Apple is also rumored to be launching a thinner phone in 2025. So we'll see. And I don't think I've covered anything on this new thin iPhone at all. Now, one thing you have to watch out for, this is something that we do at Blueberry, is we look for security flaws. And when we have one reported, we react on it pretty quickly. But it's being reported that many financial firms have high severity software security flaws that are over a year old. And that's pretty bad. New research from Veracode has revealed three-quarters of financial institutions have security debt, which it defines as any flaw that has gone unfixed for longer than a year. And shockingly, 50% have critical security debt from high severity flaws. And with financial sector facing a rising number of cyber attacks, this should not come as a surprise. And of course, the average cost of a data breach in the financial sector is about a $6 million. So you think they would make more priority to fixing these issues? That might be a question for your bank. Ask your bank, how's your security debt? As we start looking at our banking business, you just never know when one of these things is going to go total sideways. Or at Cyberscoop, basically, Senator Wyden, Democrat of Oregon, fears that regulations have a major loophole and don't cover enough repressive government agencies on exporting surveillance, hacking, and the tech that goes along with it to problematic nations. So he's asking the U.S. Department of Commerce to strengthen proposed rules meant to keep U.S. tech out of the hands of repressive nations that spy on dissidents, journalists, and American citizens, arguing that regulators should expand the list of applicable countries and close a loophole that could be used to avoid the restriction. Now, does he say which countries? He says, first, the Bureau should expand the list of countries subject to export controls beyond 23 nations. Foreign security agencies they would apply to because they were under arms embargo, on a lot of economic embargoes, or designed as state sponsors of terrorism. That leaves out many other severely repressive regimes like Azerbaijan, Egypt, Laos, Saudi Arabia, Turkmenistan, the UAE, and Vietnam. So they would exclude. So they've got human rights records. So he's got a whole list, country by country, who he wants to put on this export control list, which in some cases I think probably would be a very, very good idea. The CISA has unveiled a strategic plan to improve critical infrastructure resilience at home and abroad. The U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency has been subject to constant attacks from Russia and China and Iran over the past year. So, to bolster resilience, the plan rests upon three main goals: build resilience of foreign infrastructure on which the U.S. depends, strengthening integrated cyber defense, and unifying agency coordination of international activities. So, sounds like just working with partner agencies to try to come up with solutions. So, trying to make this more of a global issue than just related to here in the United States. An interesting development that has been revealed under a South Carolina lawsuit against TikTok. Apparently, Apple urged TikTok to increase its age recommendations and redacted. Apple urged TikTok to increase its age recommendations that redacted documents showed. Um, So basically, Apple had a team review TikTok's age rating and found the platform had frequent or intense, mature, or suggestive content. Apple added, "We hope you'll consider making the necessary changes to follow the App Store review guidelines, and will resubmit." There's not a lot of details of what Apple requested, as only some of the redacted contents were made public. But there's plenty of evidence that the not redacted documents about TikTok being so age appropriate. In fact, outside of TikTok's own employees found issues with what the company did to reduce content like profanity and eating disorders. The form was found in one about every 50 pop-ups. So basically, they wanted more. Does anybody pay attention to this age restrictions? Honestly, do they? I I don't know. I don't know if they do, to be honest with you. I don't know if anyone pays attention to that. Now, the election's right around the corner, and I'm sure many of you already have early voted. But there's an article over on ProPublica about Meta's, aka Facebook's and Instagram's weakness in deceptive political ads and how they thrived on the platform up to the election. And they have a full blown article on this, along with some examples of what was quote unquote deceptive political ads. Again, I think in this situation, we all have to be adults and we all have to do our own, I guess for a better word here, we have to do our own research. We have to do our own analysis. We have to do our own thought process to determine what we believe and what we do not believe and stuff that's being presented to us. I don't think they're going to be ever able to stop fully any of this type of disinformation. I just don't think it can happen. So, but anyway, if you want to read through that, feel free to. Apple announced their fourth quarter results. The company posted quarter revenue of 94.9 billion, up 6% year over year, and quarterly diluted earnings of 97 cents. Diluted earnings per share was $1.64, up 12% year over year when excluding the one-time charge recognized during the fourth quarter related impact of the reversal of the European General Council's state aid decision. In other words, they had to pay more tax. So basically, they were up 6% from a year ago. So again, Apple continues to do well. At the same time, Amazon announced its third quarter results. Net sales increased 11% to 158.59 billion, compared with 143.1 billion in quarter 2023. Operating income increased to 17.4 billion, compared to 11.2 billion. The net income increased to 15.3 billion, or $1.43 per diluted share. So Amazon continues to be profitable. At the same time, Intel shares jumped 7% on earnings uplifting guidance. Earnings per share, revenue was 13.28 billion versus 13.02 that was expected. 17 earnings per share was 17 cents adjusted versus loss of 2 cents expected. So, as part of their cost reduction, Intel recognized 2.8 billion in restructuring charges during the quarter. There was also 15.9 billion in impairment charges tied in part to accelerated depreciation of Intel 7 processor node manufacturing assets. So, 16,500 employees is the current and total count over at Intel. If you're using Claude, Claude has gotten a desktop app. So I've been using the OpenAI desktop app almost exclusively. It's set on my desktop. But now that Claude has gotten a desktop app and dictation support, it will be definitely adding Claude desktop to, so I don't have to keep going back to the browser. So I find Claude is doing a great job currently in a big way with summaries. So again, it's a back and forth between these two behemoths on which model is better. Again, I want you to I remind you to support GoDaddy. It's like I said on the last show, you guys knocked it out of the ballpark last month, so I definitely appreciate it. So support GoDaddy at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. If you have comments on today's show, geeknews@gmail.com, at geeknews on X, or at geeknews@geeknews.chat on Mastodon. Of course, if you're not an insider yet, consider becoming an insider. I definitely appreciate your ongoing support of the show. Thank you for your comments that are coming in. Thank you for checking out Value for Value and the new podcast apps. So I'll be back with you Monday, another edition. Probably, I don't know. It's the clocks are going to change, so I'm going 13 hours behind. So at as an example, at 9 a.m. here, it will be it'll be 8 a.m. No, 9 a.m. here is 8 p.m. After the clocks change this weekend. So going to 13 offset. I'll be honest with you, I'm really hating daylight savings times more than anything, because no one else in the world changes their clocks. Only the United States, which is just, sheer insanity. We should stop doing this. Um, Again, for international, it just raises absolute havoc in that new offset. But anyway, let's get out of here. Thank you so much for being here. So we got 16 people watching the stream. Uh, so it's just pretty good for a late night event. If you haven't let a comment on one of the streams, please say hello. But we thank you very much for your for watching the show. We'll see you